are told to be sacrificial or given the impression that they're to be sacrificial for everyone.
Right.
I think we've been fed a lie.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if I look at Jesus,
Yeah.
he wasn't sacrificial for everyone he came in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
There's some times when they were going to stone him, he left town.
Mm-hmm.
Bible says, shake the dust off your feet.
Right.
So I think you are supposed to be fair with everyone.
Right. Right.
Sacrifice for a few.
Mm-hmm.
If you spend your life sacrificing for everyone, I believe you're casting your pearls among swine.
Right.
Now, of course, many Christians think that this is supposed to be some kind of suffering walk, and
Yeah.
you're always, you know, the misinterpretation. The Bible says, watch this, we are all like lambs to the slaughter, and the next verse says, nay.
Nay. Right.
Meaning we're not all like lambs
Right.
to the slaughter.
Yeah.
We're more than conquerors.
Conquerors, right.
Because we can't be lambs to the slaughter
Mhm.
and be conquerors at the same time.
Yeah.
So this antiquated, ill-informed concept that Christians are supposed to be doormats or supposed to let, you know, things happen and just you know, I sacrifice for everyone no matter whether they appreciate it or not.
Right.
That's not a strong biblical concept.
No. Because even Jesus on the cross, he dies for everybody. But the only way you're going to get the benefits of that salvation is to accept the terms of the agreement.
There you go.
Whosoever believes.
There you go.
So Calvary was just a blanket open door.
It was an invitation to everyone.
Yeah. But you got to
Had to accept it.
You got to fulfill the standard
Yep.
to get in.
That's
and then
right.
when you get in, there's a measure of obedience that's required to get all the benefits
There you are.
of salvation.
Has nothing to do with fairness.
Right. Absolutely. Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
1-866-743-8267. 1-866-743-8267. I believe we have a clip from the State of the Union address. We can, when our technicians are ready to throw that up, and then we want to talk about this rebuttal by Stacey Abrams. Does it look to you as though she's being molded for some type of national political career?
I believe so. I think her next stop should be Congress.
Congress?
Yes.
Okay.
If she didn't get governor, she could run for Congress in probably 2 years.
Now, she scared him in the governor's race, though.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. She should run for Congress.
I actually think they manipulated the results.
Oh, of course they did. I mean, when you're in charge of the election, I'm sure you get to manipulate. And before they found that they were hiding.
Oh, here comes Crystal.
They were
We're
hiding.
having some issues.
Where?
Miss Mike's not on, and then
Where's Phil? Oh, right here. I was gonna start the clip.
Let's try to get the audio squared away, and then we'll.
because we're not on Facebook, right?
Facebook wouldn't start. That's
Okay.
what took us.
Okay.
You're on
Oh, okay.
YouTube and
Okay. All right.
okay.
Okay, so you think Abrams should run for Congress and not
Yes.
go for governor again?
Well, she's going to have to wait 4 years.
Okay.
She can do Congress in 2 years
Okay.
and be a representative in Georgia.
And then,
Then that can probably move.
because I think she won't have a problem winning a congressional seat.
No, not at all. Not at all. Especially in her district. No. I think she should be good.
Maybe he can't.
And do you think that do you think there's going to be a negative reaction? Because I noticed a trend in politics.
This is headset.
I believe President Trump is a reaction to President Obama.
Right. Yep.
Is there going to be some reaction that's anti-female as it relates to seats in the Congress and the House?
Well, I think what we're seeing is that the opposite of Trump is now bringing in a more progressive wing.
Okay.
A lot of the women are on a progressive wing, like what's her
Okay.
name, Alexandria
Ocasio.
Yeah, her. Yeah, and a few others. So you're starting to see more women come in
Okay.
because of all that stuff before. So you're always going to have that pendulum swing
Okay.
between, it's very hard for somebody to a particular organization, Republican or Democrat, to hold office for 16 years straight.
True.
It's usually 8 years, and then the country says, let's make a change, and they go the opposite direction.
Okay.
It's extremely rare to have Democrat in the presidential race. It's extremely rare.
I think some of that is by virtue of bad planning
Uh-huh.
on the part of the Democratic Party
Right.
or Republican Party.
Right.
I think that the strongest White Houses rarely win the presidential election because of egos.
Yeah.
For instance,
Mm.
had Mrs. Clinton decided to be President Obama's vice president,
Right.
I believe the nation would have gotten used to Mrs. Clinton,
Yeah.
and the Democrats would have had the White House for 16 years.
Right.
I do believe she'd have, I don't know, well, I do know. They had some requirements for Mrs. Clinton that they did not have for any other male that would run.
Absolutely.
Males don't have to be warm.
Yeah.
Males don't have to be personable.
Mm.
Males are allowed to show their emotions.
Yeah.
Males can say insulting things about people and it be seen as just
Yeah.
a
Keep it real.
reaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Males are allowed to have locker room talk.
Right.
Males can say things about different demographics.
Yeah.
Females are not allowed that.
Right.
And I think it's patently unfair
Absolutely.
that there's such a high requirement for a female in public office.
Right.
Then it's with the young lady that we were just talking about.
Mhm.
They started criticizing the way she was dressing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, in her age group, she
She's gonna
dresses
dress-
real modestly.
Yeah. She gonna dress she's what, 30 something?
Yeah, I mean she's
Yeah.
she's dressing the part.
Right.
And I'm like, they criticize her overcoat.
Mm.
I personally don't want a person in Congress representing me
Right.
that look like they just got out of a homeless shelter.
Right. Right. Exactly. But when they can't, same thing with Obama. Tan suit. He didn't wear
The
a
most
jacket.
controversial
Right.
thing he's ever
Yeah.
done.
He didn't wear a jacket in the Oval Office one time, and he took a picture of him with just a shirt and tie.
Why
on.
should he?
Right. He's in his office.
I don't recall Kennedy wearing a jacket all the time.
No. And then one guy said, well, Reagan never did that. Then they posted pictures of Reagan in a golf shirt, short sleeves, in the Oval Office.
Why? I don't know what. Well, the standard they say for my grandparents used to say consistently that the standard for African Americans in positions
Mm.
much higher than any other ethnic group.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They used to say we have to do twice the work
Yep.
to make the grade.
Gotta be better. Yep.
Mhm.
Always better.
And it's sad on one hand,
Yeah.
but then it shows an ability
Mm.
that some of our most talented people have that can't be competed with.
Right.
It's just, I don't know anyone with any sense
Mm.
that does not miss the presidency of Barack Obama.
Right. It was calm. It was,
Scandal free,
yep. Yeah.
no controversy in his family.
Now you do have those I call them woke liberals,
Yeah.
where they're coming out against Kamala Harris already, coming out against Cory
Why?
Booker. Obama didn't do nothing for us. What's the black agenda for the presidency?
Okay.
So they asked Cory Booker that, and he kind of started talking about everybody,
Right.
Because you're the president of everybody,
United States.
not just Black America.
Right. United States.
Right. So they're already coming out. Obama didn't do anything for us. We're disappointed in his presidency. But that's what's scaring me about this next election. The same thing we saw last one. Everybody getting to their little silos.
We can't afford
Got
to
Trump
do
in
it.
office. We can't afford to do it now.
Now if they don't learn,
Mm.
and the people that I know that didn't vote,
Mm.
like when I'm in various social settings, are not saying much right now
Yeah.
because those that voted for the present president, those that decided they weren't going to do anything,
Mm.
are not very vocal right now.
Yep.
Because they realize, we minority people cannot afford to get into intellectual silos
Right.
that prevent them from voting
Absolutely.
when the time comes.
Mhm.
Just can't afford to do it.
Yeah.
We can disagree
Right.
intellectually. Comes time to vote, we have to do what's good for the collective.
Right.
But, and probably some folk won't like this, we have historically been a divided people
Yeah.
when it comes to certain things.
Yeah.
I don't care that we have 9 different religions among African American people.
Mhm.
Can't we get together on child welfare?
Right.
Can't we get together on
Right.
employment? Can't we
Right.
get together on housing?
Mhm.
Because your religion
Mm.
does not preclude you from needing a roof over your head,
Right. Right.
food on the table.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
It's just so simple
Yeah.
that we could overcome the issue. Okay, we don't agree
Right.
on policy,
Mhm.
but we need to do something to
Yeah.
provide the same thing that everybody needs.
Yep.
There's a common good that we can all get involved in, has nothing to do with your religious affiliation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know why smarter minds can't see
Yeah.
this.
It's reminding me of I didn't get my way, so I'm taking my ball and going home.
Absolutely.
And the Bernie crowd did that. I was talking to somebody like, well, you know, they shoved Hillary Clinton down our you know, down us and you know, and it's not fair because Bernie should have been president. Look, even if the whole thing didn't happen with that whole DNC with Hillary Clinton and
Yeah.
the lady Deborah, whatever her name is, right? If that never happened, where they tried to go against Bernie would have still lost the primaries.
Okay.
He never got as many votes as her overall.
I don't think he could.
And like, well, the super delegates, even if they didn't have super delegates, she had more votes than him from the people overall.
Right.
So he still wouldn't have won. So I'm like, nobody shoved her down our throats.
No.
She beat him fair and square in the primary.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
Yep.
But they can't see that.
Why?
So I didn't vote for her because we were forced to vote for her, and I'm not doing that. I'm like, you're crazy.
He got beat.
He got beat, plain and simple. And I was a Bernie supporter. He got beat. Simple.
Why is it that? Now I hear him really clearly, but I can't hear myself. That's good. No.
Okay.
I'm amazed that the leaders of these constituencies don't bring that simple logic
Yeah.
to the people.
Right.
It's almost as finally, thank you.
Yeah.
It's almost as though they want the negativity to remain,
Right.
to prove some point
Yeah.
that I can't
Yeah.
really discern what the point
Right.
is.
Right. Yeah. I'm standing on principle.
Because the issue is, Mr. Sanders gave the impression that he was trying to bring his voters over to Mrs. Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
Did that really happen?
He made an effort. From what I saw, he made an effort to do it.
Okay.
But a great number of his supporters said they just weren't going to vote, or they voted for Trump.
Something's wrong with that.
Absolutely.
So they actually voted for Trump. So do they make up the mad I voted for Trump people now?
Yeah, I vote. That's the other thing. So now people are mad. Tax time's coming around,
Doc,
and folk are upset.
Doc,
They are upset.
Doc. I saw a couple things on the radio the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy said he had not had to pay in 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he got something like a $4,000 tax bill
Yep.
with this tax reform,
Yep.
which only benefited wealthy people.
Mm-hmm.
So folk that never had to pay before,
Yep. Are paying.
and they're not paying like $35.
Yep.
It's hundreds and thousands of dollars that people are having to pay because their deductions have been taken away, and they went for the Kool-Aid.
Yep.
But when people were telling them it's not for you, it's not for you, they didn't want to hear it.
Yep. It's going to help us out. It's going to be for the regular worker. It's going to be good.
Look, and
And-
that extra $60 in the pay
Right.
does not look good when you
Not
get a
at
tax
all.
bill for $4,500.
Absolutely. I'm like, what you got in your pay does not make up for.
No.
And they didn't tell people to change their withholdings before they did this tax bill. They just said it's going to help you out. And
My accountant told me there are about to be some unhappy people.
yep. Mm-hmm.
I said, what do you mean, like a couple $100? No. No. The government's getting ready to cash in on this thing
Yep.
because they got to pay for what they gave away to the wealthy people.
Mm-hmm. And people, I voted for you, and you said this is going to help us out, and you didn't. Now I owe this year, and da-da-da-da-da-da.
No, he was very honest on TV with Lester Holt.
Yep.
When Holt said some of the things you're doing are going to hurt the people that voted for you, he said, I know.
No. Yep. Mm-hmm. Especially those of us that live in the coastal states.
Yep.
New York, New Jersey, California, Virginia, those high tax places. You can't get those deductions like you used to.
Nope.
Capping at $10,000, where most people in New Jersey, their property taxes are $10,000.
Absolutely.
So you can't do anything above that.
No. But we've been saying it for 2 years. Racial vote is not logical.
Yeah.
And watch this. some of them will have to pay these heavy tax bills
Mm-hmm.
and still support what he says.
They probably will. Yeah.
And still believe he told them the truth.
Mhm.
He did not tell them the truth.
Yep. He didn't.
His buddies and himself got help.
Mm-hmm.
So they got. Are we going to be able to do any of these videos today? Because I'm really, really interested in seeing the people seeing, if they didn't, a little bit of what the State of the Union looked like.
Well, I think we got one video clip of Trump talking at the State of the Union.
Go ahead. Let's roll the clip.
Members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. We meet tonight at a moment of unlimited potential. As we begin a new Congress, I stand here ready to work with you to achieve historic breakthroughs for all Americans. An economic miracle is taking place in the United States, and the only thing that can stop it are foolish wars, politics, or ridiculous partisan investigations.
What were they cheering?
They were cheering for that partisan investigation part. You know, his side, the Republicans cheer for him. The Democrats don't usually cheer for certain parts like that.
Yeah.
But again, it's the introduction of let's work together. Like you said, let's be together. Our
But
economy is great.
that's not been his practice.
No. And again, we talk about all the time on here. The economy being great, for some reason doesn't hit the lower people. So is the economy really, really great?
No.
That's my thing. It's like, so if
I mean, why?
banks and businesses are doing well.
Look. Okay. The crap down theory of economics.
Yeah.
And I use crap down because nothing flows slower downhill than crap.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, this is a Christian show,
Right.
so I can't use the
the
word I
other
want to
word,
use. The
right.
scuba line theory.
Scuba line.
The Greek, that's
Right.
the Greek word for crap.
Right.
The scuba line theory of economics does not work.
Right.
By the time it gets to you,
Yeah.
it ain't even a trickle.
Right.
So that was just a fallacy.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
the deal is they found out that most of the businesses that got the breaks, they used it to pay dividends to the stockholders, which they were
Yep.
going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Bonuses to the CEOs,
Yep.
which they were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
What else did they do for the people? Laid them
Laid
off.
them off. Yep. Laid them off. Yep.
They sold some of their subsidiaries,
Mm-hmm.
and they used it to make some money.
Yep.
It didn't trickle down.
Down to, yeah.
You know, the some of the bigger box retailers, they scammed the people. They gave some people some raises and bonuses,
Yeah.
and then they shut down 60 or 70 stores.
Absolutely.
So
That wasn't for the economy
yeah.
to everybody else.
I'm tired of hearing about adding 400,000 jobs, but you don't tell us we lost 800,000.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, if we added 4 and you lost 8,
Yeah.
that's a negative 4.
Right. That's a yeah.
Don't tell me about so the shutdown caused people to look for part-time employment.
Right.
So the numbers for looking for
Skyrocketed.
jobs went up.
Went up. Yep.
You don't have to be an economist to
Simple
figure that out.
Right. It's simple.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did you see Ocasio take down the takedown she did on campaign finance?
Yes.
That
Yeah,
was
I watched it.
beautiful.
It was. It was. Because they can technically use that campaign money for whatever they want to use it for and not have to report.
People don't know that.
Mm-hmm. So that's why everybody's life gets upgraded when they run for office.
Absolutely. Because you get to take the money with you.
Yeah.
So she was very skillful in phrasing the questions that there was no other answer other than yes or no.
Right. Yep. That's true.
She's a smart woman.
She is smart. She is smart. I give it to her.
I hope nothing happens to her, man, because
Me
she's ruffling some
She
feathers,
is.
something fierce.
She is. She is. The only concern I have with her is a little bit. A lot of passion,
Yes.
right? And over time, I'm sure method will start to
Yes.
kick in a little more. I've been reading about this new Green Deal that
Yeah.
she's talking about.
Yeah.
It goes back to, again, how we going to pay for it.
Well,
Did you read the whole thing? You were
I
part
read
of
the
it?
whole thing, but my whole thing is this. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
But where's the money going to come from?
Right. That's a lot of money.
Now, she's talking about taxing the rich to get it done. They're not going for that.
Not in this capitalistic society.
We're back to the reasons, and I remember you being a Bernie supporter, and I liked everything that he had. I just used to say I didn't think his agenda would ever be passed.
Right.
In the society that we live in, I think, and you correct me, you're a better historian than I am. The things that Roosevelt did, the New Deals, I believe, and all that happened, addressed a different problem in a different era.
Right.
I understand the principle of it that they're trying to push.
Right.
But is it the same society with the same problems
No.
that can have the same solutions based on
No.
this bold and new initiative that I think they were addressing people eating and
Yeah, it was the Great Depression.
working. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. That kind of thing. It wasn't, we're gonna spend all this money to make sure that there are these new jobs that there is no outlet for in the United States.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't think we need to turn totally to a socialist country.
No.
A mix of capitalism with socialism is beneficial.
There are some things that we can do.
Right.
Like, I still believe that in this country, and this may be idealistic on my part, I don't think people should be homeless.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I don't think food should be an issue in this country.
Not at all.
I don't think medical care should be an issue
Not at all.
in this country.
Right.
And I don't think that's socialistic. I just think that's human.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
Christian.
Yeah.
The poor is always going to be with us, according to the Word of God. So that means that it wasn't a statement of do nothing.
Right.
When Jesus says the poor shall always be with us,
Yeah.
it meant that there'll always be something that we have to deal with.
Right.
Not they're just going to be there,
Right.
so you guys just ignore them.
Yeah.
Step over them in the street when you
Right.
see them. Come on.
Ruth and Leviticus show us that. God
Absolutely.
said the poor is going to be with you. So what I need you to do is leave some stuff on the side so
There
they
you
can
go.
come get it.
There you go.
Plain and simple. It's
There you go.
it's that simple.
There you go. I just think that this capitalism without any humanity is a problem.
Absolutely.
I hate doing this on
You want to go to a break?
yeah.
Let's go to a break, y'all.
Let's go to a break.
Let's go to a break.
I'm having an issue.
We'll be right back, y'all.
My goodness.
Isn't it time to stop reliving your past hurts and move on to a bright and hopeful future?
I have a right to be upset, but I don't have a right to be wounded for the rest of my life. So I choose to be healed.
Get rid of the bitter poison that unforgiveness administers to the soul with Bishop David G. Evans. Forgive again, live again.
It's a liberating experience and being able to forgive someone and forgiving yourself. It's liberating.
Forgiveness will deliver me in 3 dimensions. From what happened, from who it happened with, from when it happened. Because sometimes you'll get free from the what, but the who will still have you bound.
This highly sought-after 4-part message of healing can be yours on CD or DVD. Act now, and we'll include Bishop's book, Healed Without Scars, with your order absolutely free. All yours when you visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480 today.
And we're back. Praise the Lord. Yeah, man.
Man.
I understand. He's holding on as long as possible.
Something happened. I don't know. And it definitely wasn't the Lord touching me either.
Right.
So State of the Union address,
Yeah.
it didn't ring true with me.
No, not at all.
And the parts that I saw was trying to be, I got this issue. I don't know if I'm the only person. I'm sure I'm not, but I don't like hearing the president's voice.
No. That's why I can't watch.
I don't like looking at him.
Yeah, I can't watch.
And I think it's because he's just so unreal that it's.
Yeah.
But what he represents is a portion of our government representatives that is very real, has a very real mindset, and has goals that have nothing to do with the welfare of everybody else.
Right.
He represents, I think, the worst of our government.
Yeah.
Out of touch with people.
Yeah.
Don't understand. I mean, the guy actually said, go to the grocery store and try to negotiate.
Right. Yeah.
Can you imagine going to your local grocery store, whatever that is, and going to Whole Foods, and you get to the register and start negotiating the price?
Yeah, can this bread be $1?
I mean, where was he living?
That's not gonna happen. They don't go grocery shopping. Well, yeah. If you probably haven't gone grocery shopping in a long time.
He ain't never been grocery shopping.
Yeah.
He has the limo pull up to the McDonald's, the takeout window.
Right.
God doesn't know what he's talking about.
I know.
So you think the Green New Deal is, in principle, a great idea,
yes,
but unfundable,
yes,
which means it's unpassable.
Yes. And some things like I saw in there, like I think it was in that, or Kamala Harris was talking about this, giving everybody $500 a month. Making
to do what?
I guess just in, whatever. Just as a stipend from the government. Everybody's in housing. And now here's my thing. I get it. The economy is really stimulated when middle and lower class people have more money.
Absolutely.
Because we do most of the spending.
Absolutely.
Rather than the wealthy people.
Absolutely.
And there's more of the middle and lower
than it is of the upper income. I get it.
If the economy wants to get boosted, give every poor person, every middle class person $100,000. This will be recession free for. I'm trying to tell you. Look, come on now. People. They gonna buy
Retail
stuff.
will hit it. Automobile industry will hit it. All of it. Food. Vacations.
They gonna pay their house off.
They might not pay their house off.
That's true. You stay in debt, but won't.
You're going a little too far. 1-866-743-8267. 1-866-743-8267. This is On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, coming to you live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. at David G. Evans 1 on any of your smart devices. Thank you for joining us. Give us a call right now. We're talking about some of the most relevant things that are going on in our society, in our culture, in politics, in sports that you could ever want to talk about from a Christian perspective. Now, the inaugural committee is under investigation. Mm-hmm. His nonprofit's under investigation. Mm-hmm. Trump Inc. is under investigation. Mm-hmm. His administration is under investigation. Mm-hmm. His transition committee is under investigation. Yeah. What is going on?
They research it, but then again, call this off. It's not American. But here's my thing. So he wants to call.
How long did they pursue Benghazi?
Right, for a whole 2, 3,
4 years.
4 years. The birther movement. How long was that going on?
2 years, maybe longer.
Yeah, but investigate his birth certificate.
They didn't call that harassment.
But that wasn't harassment though.
And he was president.
Hmm? That's see that, and they call that politics.
Well, but it's harassment when it's happening to them.
Right. Yeah.
1-866-743-8267. We have someone on line one. I'm looking for.
Oh, it's Jonathan.
Jonathan?
Yeah.
Good morning, Jonathan. How you doing?
Good morning. Yeah, I got a little bit of a cold, as you can hear.
Sounds like it, man. What's going on?
A lot of a cold. It was almost gone yesterday. I was using elderberry, and then I stopped. And that was a big mistake. It came back with a vengeance.
Why'd you stop?
Because I thought it was over. Elderberry had done so good. So I had to start up strong with the elderberry again. That really works. But
you started feeling better, huh?
I was feeling almost totally better.
Wow. Almost totally better. I like the way you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's on your mind this morning, Jonathan?
Too many things. Well, just say, let me start off where I left last time. Roy Moore.
Yeah.
They had the anti-Moore group that wanted to put the other guy in that I guess did. They said, well, what they did was they had a campaign to go through Facebook and Twitter and all that, and to smear him, to say that he is a pedophile and all this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it was absolutely untrue, totally untrue.
Who said it was untrue?
It came up in the New York Times, January 11th, what they did.
The Times said it was untrue?
New York Times, I believe so.
No, it wasn't the New York Times.
It was New York Times, January 11th. They broke the story.
They broke the story that...
They broke the story.
They broke the story that...
Of what had been done.
Okay.
against Roy Moore.
We're looking for it now.
False allegations. Yeah.
We're looking for it now. How were they false?
Not true. He never did any of that.
Now, and the New York Times said they weren't. Is that what you're saying, Pastor Nick?
That was they were the ones that broke the story about how they did it, how they used this false campaign to both largely suppress the voters, the Republican voters who would vote for Roy Moore, the Christian conservatives, that kind of thing.
Well,
Wait a minute. We got something.
The Washington Post.
The Washington Post
saying something to the effect that there was some disinformation that came out about Roy Moore.
Okay.
But I don't have time to read what was real versus what wasn't real.
Right.
So it goes back to, again, if one wasn't real, they kind of threw it in there to kind of add something to it. But the other two were real.
Yeah.
Do we discount the two because?
Well, I was talking to a guy I know, and I'm always amazed that a person can discount an entire story based on one minor detail.
Right.
So the story, the reality is that it happened at 9:15. It's reported that it happened at 9 o'clock. So that means as reported at 9 o'clock, that means the whole story is bogus.
Right. No.
And that's how they do things in the news.
Yeah.
You can't discredit or discount an entire incident because somebody says it happened at 9 in the afternoon and somebody else says it happened at 12. Did the incident happen on that day? That's the number one thing.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, Jonathan, but a lot of times
I believe that.
yeah,
but I don't think in this case it's true.
I think sometimes the disinformation is purposeful and intended to cast doubt in a hope to erase the problem. Like what's happening in Virginia right now. The best thing for that guy to say was, the governor, best thing to say, I was young, I got a drink in my hand, we were drunk, I did something I shouldn't have done. Can you forgive me?
Right.
Not, yeah, it was me. Then the next day,
It wasn't me.
ain't me.
And that was Michael Jackson.
Yeah, come on.
Right.
He made the worst mess of that you could.
Oh,
did.
it was
He really did.
ridiculous.
They
Oh,
really
man.
did.
It was ridiculous. Like, come on, fella, come on. Was that really helpful?
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh man, he messed that up so bad.
Was that
I
helpful?
mean, if I would see now where I grew up in the middle of Pennsylvania, there, we had rumors that there was. It was mostly Polish, Welsh, Germans. That was mostly, and there was a rumor that there was somebody. A black had lived in our town at one time.
Okay.
Okay, that's all I knew about blacks. You know. So,
Did y'all? There was a rumor that y'all had one in your town at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
And so to me, I mean, I see Al Jolson, you know, and blackface. To me, it's not. I would have said, hey, I was trying to emulate Michael Jackson. If it had been me, I'd have said, hey, I was being the black guy, emulating the suffering of the black, and here we were trying to show the suffering of the situation.
I think the problem was that someone else of note said they also went to the University of Virginia, and that blackface thing was a common practice at the school at the time. So there was a disconnect as it relates to what that really represented. It wasn't, and then there's a deeper truth, Jonathan, in that non-blacks have always accepted blacks in entertainment positions. So the blackface Jolson, the blackface entertaining was an acceptable portrayal to a lot of people, but it was always offensive to us.
Okay.
Yeah. So the issue was in entertainment context accepted, and that includes sports, athletics. Those two venues are watch this, where people are allowed to make tons of money and be accepted, but you can't come to my church. Right. You can't work in my company, but you can entertain me, and I'm willing to pay to see you entertain me.
Well, even in sports for a long time, it was. I mean, in basketball, it wasn't until the Harlem Globetrotters beat the who was it, Milwaukee or somebody, the world champion basketball team, beat them twice in a row.
I think another truth that people aren't aware of is the NHL actually started as a Christian hockey league in Canada with blacks that have come from the South. They get up north, the traditional sports aren't available. They start to play hockey. The Christian league ensues. The NHL was a product of the non-black teams not being able to defeat the black team, and also in hockey there was no fighting in the Christian league. So the crouched down goalie position that all goalies use now was originated by an African American man who happened to be a dwarf and played the goal.
Interesting.
And when the documentary was going to come on ESPN 3 or 4 years ago, the NHL threatened to pull their contract if they showed it.
No.
Yes.
Oh my.
Christian Hockey League, Canada, African American dominated, and the other teams couldn't beat them, so they separated and formed the NHL.
Hey, I want to bring up a big negative in the State of the Union.
Yeah, what was it?
This is breaking news.
Okay.
No talk show has hit on this at
Okay.
all.
Okay, give us breaking news.
Nothing was said about the budget deficit in the State of the Union. Is that the State of the Union or not?
Absolutely. And the budget deficit is supposed to be mentioned in the State of the Union.
I mean,
What
really,
is it's over $1 trillion now, right?
One of the most important things. It's $1 trillion, and and the debt, the deficit and the debt. You can have a State of the Union and not mention that.
Well, they did.
Yeah.
I guess.
Everything was
Yeah,
roses
but
and
no
pointing everybody out.
talk show on either side mentioned anything about it. That tells you something about both sides.
Yes, sir. That deficit was not. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear a thing about the deficit.
Apparently, it's all gone.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Bless you.
Talk to you. Danny, how you doing, man?
Good morning, Bishop. Good morning,
Danny.
Pastor Nick, staff. How are y'all doing
We're
today?
doing all right, man. You doing good down in Florida?
Yeah. Well, I got a little rain today again, so
Oh, my.
put a damper on the day.
Oh, that
but,
was a joke.
we'll
Rain put a little
make it
damper
through.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll make it through. How's the weather up there today?
We're a little chilly today, maybe in the 30s, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But you can't tell by our tire this morning, can you?
Yeah, I know. You guys are doing a good job of confusing me with
Threw you
that.
off a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah. I could tell Pastor Nick gave it away, but you kind of confused me there.
Yeah, I know. It's just kind of,
That shirt looks a little thick, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to fake you out, Dan. I was thinking of you when I ironed the shirt.
Right. Just threw what was available on. Just
I have a couple of comments.
Go ahead, man.
It's something that Pastor Nick said some time ago, is that as far as, dealing with the economy and what have you, if the government, you remember when we had that bailout of the banks and
Absolutely.
what have you? It's amazing how when banks and things like that are in dire straits, or they make a situation and it's something of their fault, it's okay to bail them out.
Socialistic move.
Right. Yeah. So Pastor Nick said the wrong move was that they should have given the money to the homeowners or the home buyers, and then said, well, this is the way the only way you can get the money is that you do it for home repairs, or either you pay your mortgage off.
Right.
Which made a lot of sense. Okay, but they gave it to the banks. But what did the banks do with it? They still put the people that had the mortgages. They still put them out of their homes.
Mm-hmm. So they built that stock of property, which is what they do, and then another company comes along and buys it from them, and starts rehabbing and selling and writing stuff off, and that's how it works.
And that's really a real bad situation. And then the other thing is that you were talking about was with the tax and what have you.
Yeah.
Everybody was getting, but something interesting, and it's something that you said, is that you always try to have a conversation with people and don't argue or debate against things. So when that tax issue came about, I said, well, on the job, I said, well, I don't think that it's going to work that way. So what happened, I noticed that a certain group was in a rush. As soon as they got their W-2s, they immediately went and filed their income tax.
Yeah.
But what the amazing thing is that they got less this year than approximately half of what they got last year.
There you go.
And I didn't have to say a thing.
What are they saying now, Pastor Nick said? They're not saying much, are they?
No, it's not a word. Nobody's mentioning their tax returns. So it's sad.
I was
It's really sad.
telling the audience earlier that I heard a report the other day. A guy said he hadn't paid in 30-some years. And this year he got a $4,000, excess of $4,000 tax bill under the new tax laws.
Wow.
30-some years he's never paid.
And
Wow.
4,000 is a lot too.
I think 4,000 is a lot to owe, especially when you have to pay it all, pay half, go on a monthly plan, which is going to last you 12 months. And if you don't do that, they're going to come sweep your accounts and take your stuff.
Wow.
I mean, but what amazes me, the government was shut down, but they can still process your payments.
Oh yeah, you had to pay.
Oh, yeah, they can process because
You couldn't get your refund.
They sent me a note. You couldn't get your refund, but they could process payments.
Oh yeah, you had to pay that.
Wow.
And they said it's going to be 6-8 months before people get these refunds.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you were counting on them for tuition help and all that, you can forget that.
Yes.
Unbelievable. How's sis doing, man?
She's doing great. She was upset with me week before last because before I got off the phone, my main reason for calling was to wish you a happy birthday, and I did not do that.
Thank you, man.
So
I appreciate it.
She was upset with me for not mentioning that, so she said it wasn't her fault, it was mine. So
yeah, you messed up.
Right.
Till I said thank you for thinking about it.
All right, Pastor Nick.
All right,
Be
man,
blessed.
take care.
Talk to you.
All right.
All right. 1-866-743-8267. Now, do we have Stacey Abrams?
Yes.
Let's see a little bit of Stacey Abrams. Watch this, y'all.
Yes.
We're not ready yet. We'll be ready for it in just a second. Now the Virginia thing has turned into a mess.
Yeah, to say the least. You ready? You ready for the clip?
You ready for the clip? Let's go to Miss Abrams.
Making livelihoods of our federal workers a pawn for political games is a disgrace. The shutdown was a stunt, engineered by the President of the United States, one that defied every tenet of fairness and abandoned not just our people, but our values. For 7 years, I led the Democratic Party in the Georgia House of Representatives. I didn't always agree with the Republican speaker or governor, but I understood that our constituents didn't care about our political parties. They cared about their lives.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was, I heard 11 minutes, but it was good though.
Wow.
Yeah. So you hear? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You're hearing a lot of the unifying message on the Democratic side,
Right.
versus trying to combat all that they heard before. And the cool thing is they let her write her own speech.
Did they?
Yes. So that's why it came across so genuine. I'm sure she had people helping her shape it, mold it, but it came.
But
from
she's
her.
a veteran politician too.
Yeah.
And she really represented herself and her goals well during her campaign.
Yeah.
So much so that I think it frightened the state Republican Party in Georgia. Because they didn't expect her to do as well as she did. But she knew that her hope was in all of the small places that they were ignoring.
Yep.
And
Where they made it hard to vote.
How did the Republican Party get to be the party that started suppressing votes and gerrymandering and all of them?
Especially when they're the party of freedom.
That's not supposed to be their tenet.
I think what they saw was the changing tide of the country.
So we're going to do anything we have to do to stay in power?
Yep. The country's becoming a little more liberal.
Wow.
Things are changing. So they're doing everything they can to make sure that the power structure stays in place. Now, part of me understands, because when you have the extremes of both sides, to me are not good. The extreme progressives and the extreme far right aren't good. Most Americans are to the center.
That's right.
And you're seeing a lot of the progressives saying we don't need a center president. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Somebody speaks to both sides.
Yeah, we do. We need a mediator.
Yeah.
So these new candidates, I think there's too many of them.
Oh, this is just the beginning.
I think there's too many. I think that I did predict 2 years ago that I thought Booker, maybe 3 years ago now, that Booker would be the next, if there was one, he'd be the next minority president. Kamala Harris, Klobuchar, what's her name?
That lady, the lady that came out that she was being real mean to people, like
They don't say that about the guys.
She was throwing stuff at people, and
They don't say that about the guys.
I never heard of her until yesterday.
That gets on my nerves.
Yeah, I know.
All of a sudden, if a woman conducts herself in traditional female ways, if she was to break down crying on the camera, not presidential. If she loses her temper, not presidential. President Trump can say what he wants to say, do what he wants to do, and some people think he's a man's man.
Yeah.
I don't get the higher requirement for females.
That's true. No, I agree. And men can be robotic if they wanted to be.
Robotic, unfeeling, monotonish.
Yeah.
But females, they got to be a combination of Mother Teresa, Rahab, and
Rahab.
Just they got to have all this experience, but not look like it.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't care that Mrs. Clinton was not a bubbly person.
Yeah, no, she'd be the president.
I've never asked for a president to be bubbly.
Right.
I want to be effective.
Yeah, run the country. If I wanted, it's not a friendship poll.
It's not. We got Bunny from Daytona Beach. Bunny, how you doing?
Oh, I'm fine, sir. How are you doing?
Doing great. Welcome to On Point. My family's from Daytona Beach.
Are they? Oh my goodness. Well, actually, I'm in the Port. I'm really in the Port Orange area.
Okay.
I moved back when my father became ill, and to help out with him. So, but listen, this is why I was calling. One of the struggles that I think I have as a Christian is I'm now an independent.
Okay.
I was raised Democratic, and even though I love how the Democrats do a better job in embracing all people, some of my issues have where they will embrace almost everything.
Yes.
And it does not always fit into where I am with my spiritual and Christian
Absolutely.
beliefs.
Agree.
And how you find this, whereas you have the Republicans who they call themselves right. Lately they've been on the wrong.
Yeah.
They claim they love God, but then they can't stand me.
Right.
So I have, sometimes I'm in this cross, and one of the things that I've noticed is that many of us don't fall, most people actually, but I'll say many people, don't fall neatly into any particular political category.
Absolutely.
And one of the things, too, the labels have changed. Like, I've lived through the 50s, the 60s, all of that. What was defined as liberal then...
It's changed, hasn't it?
It has changed. And conservatism, maybe not as much, but there have been some changes. But one of the things a friend and I, we talked about how following Jesus calls all political agendas into question. And yet... following Jesus forces one to take stands on political issues. But yet again, following Jesus should make it virtually impossible to give total allegiance to any particular political agenda. And if I find it easy to be a follower of Christ and give total allegiance to a particular agenda, I don't know, then I would have to suggest that my making this business of following Jesus way easier than it actually is.
Well, I agree. I think that if we're not uncomfortable with every platform that's presented to us politically, we're not operating in any kingdom consciousness at all.
Yes.
I've been a Democrat my whole life, been a businessman my whole adult life. Republican policies have benefited me as a business person, but they don't benefit the people that I serve.
Yes.
So it's impossible for me to be a Republican if their policies hurt the people that I serve.
That's right. That's right.
You know, and I'm not comfortable with the whole Democratic platform. We have an abortion issue, which I have a problem with.
Yes.
But the Republicans don't mind killing kids after they're born.
Oh my!
So I have a
now that's
problem.
the truth.
I've got a problem.
That's the truth.
I'm so glad you called us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Tell your friends about us, please.
Oh, in fact, I already have.
Good.
I already have. Okay.
Call us again.
Okay.
See you
thank
next time now.
Okay. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, we come to the end of another program. This is On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America with Reverend Nicholas Smith, our world-famous co-host. I'm Bishop David G. Evans. Now remember, go to somebody's house of worship tomorrow. Stay strong. Stay saved. And remember, faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. God bless you. See you next week on Point.